Boom! And we're live. What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning into the Max Van Auken Podcast. However you may be listening on any podcast platform or on my YouTube channel, the Max Van Auken Podcast. I appreciate you tuning in. So Andrew Luck, I want to dive right into it. Andrew Luck retires from the NFL at the age of 29 years old. In case you don't know who Andrew Luck is, he was the superstar quarterback for the Colts. Superstar quarterback, once in a lifetime type of talent where he has that Hall of Fame talent. And there's a lot of mixed feelings. For one, everyone's shocked. Two, there's some disappointed fans. Three, which this is the category I fall in, of course I wish I could see him play, but I'm extremely happy for Andrew Luck that he's able to walk away on his terms and do what's best for him and his career and his family. A lot of players, a lot of people don't do that. They wait until they literally don't have a choice. He made the choice. It's his decision, and it's what's best for Andrew Luck, and 100% respect that. But I want to run this scenario by you. So say you're going into work, and it's a 9-to-5 job, right? So you're going in, you're grinding 9 to 5 nonstop working. And you make a living for you, maybe your family, but you make a living, but you enjoy the job. So you're willing to put in the work because you truly love the job. It doesn't really matter to you. Well, what if I told you that you suffered a torn cartilage in 2 ribs, partially torn abdomen, a lacerated kidney, at least 1 concussion, a torn labrum, and your valuable working arm, in this case throwing shoulder, and a calf and ankle issue? So it took the fun away from your work. So the purpose of you going to work is because you enjoyed it. Even though it was hard work, you truly enjoyed the work. But now all of these injuries and this pain has caused you to not like your job as much. You'd say, well, I still have to make money. Well, what if I gave you $27 million and said you don't have to work, and because you're financially set for life, and you don't have to show up to the work that you don't enjoy anymore because it's hurting you and your body? You'd say that's a no-brainer. That's exactly what Andrew Luck did. Andrew Luck walked away with money in the bank, and he walked away because these injuries have taken the fun out of the game. This is a lot of work. To be an NFL quarterback is the most important position in all of sports. All of sports. So for you to walk away, it must seriously be to the point where you can't bear it anymore. And I just read you all of these injuries, and that's what it resulted in. It was just too much for Andrew Luck. Too much. Why show up day in and day out and risk your health, go through another rehab when you have money in the bank, and you don't have the passion for it anymore because you keep getting hurt? And this isn't Andrew Luck's fault, by the way. Him getting hurt is not Andrew Luck's fault. The Colts never protected Andrew Luck. Their offensive line was atrocious. The front office, and I love Chris Ballard and the new front office, but until then, the past front office never served Andrew Luck justice. So we have this Hall of Fame talent who never got to become a Hall of Famer because he was never supported the way he should be. He never had the supporting cast that he should have had. For a Hall of Fame guy, he inherited a terrible situation, and he overcame a lot of it, and he got a lot of wins, but the result was a lot of injuries because your body can only take a certain amount of hits. So what we're seeing is a 29-year-old quarterback who can't take any more punishment. So the work that he loved, he doesn't love anymore because he has all these injuries. It's taken the fun out of work. So why work if you're financially set and you don't enjoy it anymore? If I gave any one of you listening $27 million and you didn't have to show up to work anymore because it was tearing your body down, you guys would do the exact same thing. Now, it's easy to sit back here and say, no, I wouldn't. But it's different when you have the cash in your hand or in your bank account, $27 million. Would you want to go through another rehab on an ankle or calf, whatever the case may be? Would you want to go through another injury process, that rehab process? Now, if you're an athlete, you understand how gruesome and brutal that can be. You have to be extremely dedicated, and your love for the game has to be on a completely different level to be able to go through that. It's different than normal rehab. Being an athlete, you're rehabbing it so you can put immense amount of stress and wear and tear on this body because the quarterback position gets hurt. It's constantly moving. It's throwing. It's getting sacked. You're not just walking down the street rehab. This is athletic rehab. You're rehabbing yourself to get back on the field and compete against these beasts. They're trying to take your head off every single game. And although Andrew Luck has incredible sportsmanship, I don't know if you guys watched the clip where he's just congratulating the people that tackled him. It's hard to take those type of hits. Even if you're as nice as Andrew Luck, no one likes that. So if you don't have the joy anymore, and you have the financial backing in your bank account, why would you show up to work and go through it? Now, if your love for the game has blinded you from your injuries, that's one thing. But he doesn't love the game anymore because he's getting injured. Am I saying he doesn't love football? No. But being a quarterback in the position that he was in, different story. I'm sure he absolutely loves football. He'll watch it every Sunday. But being in it is a different story. So I understand why the Colts fans booed him, because there's their initial reaction. They're in the fans. They're drinking. They're fun. They're emotional. I get it. But as far as people not understanding it now, I don't understand you. Because you have $27 million in the bank, 29 years of age. You've already suffered, as I said, torn cartilage in 2 ribs, partially torn abdomen, a lacerated kidney, at least 1 concussion, torn labrum in his throwing shoulder, which obviously he throws on it nonstop, and a calf and ankle issue that caused this retirement. And you have $27 million in the bank. I am not for 1 second faulting Andrew Luck for retiring. The question now remains, is this something that we see going forward? And I think it is. I think we've reached the stage in sports where basketball and NFL are completely different. They're different entities, right? The NBA is about player mobility, player empowerment. The NFL is about the brand. It's about the shield. Well, now I think we're starting to see NFL players understand the temperature in the room. They understand their worth. They understand what's at stake, and they understand getting their money early. Look at Ezekiel Elliott, the running back for the Dallas Cowboys. He's 2 years early from another contract, and he's already demanding that money. Now, why is that? Because he understands, for one, his position isn't as valued anymore as it was in the past because it's a throwing league analytically, but also he understands that he takes so many hits every single game, every single practice. Well, they don't hit as much in practice anymore, but so many hits every single game. He wants to make that generational wealth now while he can earn it, so then he's not in a position where he can't get another contract anymore because he has so many miles on that body, and he's not the same player he used to be. So he's demanding this money early. So we're seeing players understand what's at stake past football, post-football career. They want the money, they're looking out for their health, and I 100% back it, and I think we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more than this because it's not like Andrew Luck had one injury and he's like, you know what, I'm done. This is an accumulation of injuries that it's just hard to go through. And why keep going through it if you have money in the bank already? Now, there's the competitor inside of him that I guarantee you he wants to come back. I don't think he will. I don't think he will. I guarantee you he's going to watch these games and he's going to want to come back. It's just a competitive nature in you. You don't get to that level without having that competitive nature inside of you. But when you look at this list, he made the right decision. He made the right decision. Now for the Colts, now this puts them in a completely different situation. And like I said, I understand the side of, hey, you left your team hanging. I understand that now Colts fans went from title aspirations to what's going to happen next. But at some point, you have to move on and you have to do what's best for yourself. And that's what Andrew Luck did, and I 100% support it. And I think we're going to see more of this. What's sad is that we never got to see Andrew Luck fulfill his Hall of Fame career because he certainly was on the track for one. He just couldn't stay healthy because he never had the help. It's not like this guy was just injury prone. He never had an offensive line to protect him. So he just got sacked nonstop. But he still overcame so much adversity because he's such a generational type of talent. But there's only so much you can overcome by yourself. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are together. Tom Brady didn't do this by himself. He inherited a good situation. I'm not taking that away from Tom Brady, but he inherited a lot better situation, a positive situation than Andrew Luck did. Andrew Luck never started off on the right foot with this team. He did, but the team never did it for him. Never reimbursed him. So, Andrew Luck, hats off to you. Enjoy your life. Move on. Be happy and be healthy. But like I said, now this puts the division in a flux. Who's going to win that division, right? So I want to give you guys my division predictions. AFC North, AFC South, AFC East, AFC West, and I'm going to go down the line here. And then, of course, over to the NFC. So let's start off with the AFC South, because obviously that's where the Colts are. So now that Andrew Luck is retired, he is done. Absolutely done. Retired. So what happens to that division? You have the Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Titans. Well, let me look at this. Blake Bortles, the Titans, the Colts. I'm going with the Texans to win this division. I'm not overthinking it. I do like the Colts' roster. I think it's certainly a better roster than the previous years. Like I said, I don't think this franchise is ruined, but with no Andrew Luck, I'm taking Deshaun Watson. He's the best quarterback in that division. We go to the AFC North. We have the Steelers, the Bengals, the Ravens, the Browns. I know everyone's on their high horse with the Browns. And a lot of people like Lamar Jackson for the Ravens. And the Bengals are the Bengals. I'm going with the Steelers to win the division in the AFC North. I think Big Ben, I think he understands. He still has Juju Smith-Schuster. I still have Tomlin as the coach. I still have a great front office, good ownership. I'm going with the Steelers to win this division, and I believe Big Ben realizes the temperature in the room more, a little more self-awareness. You haven't had as many headlines, not nearly as many headlines as last year with Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, and we have that whole turmoil with Ben and what did Antonio Brown think of Ben because Ben made this comment. You're not getting any of that. What you have is a motivated Ben Roethlisberger. What you have is a motivated Juju Smith-Schuster. And they're looking at the Raiders and they're laughing at this Antonio Brown drama. They're laughing at it because now they don't have to deal with that. What they're doing is they're focusing on football. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, it's drama. No matter how you want to word it or spin it, you can love Baker Mayfield. You can love Odell Beckham Jr. They have a great roster full of young talent, but it's still a lot of talk. It's still a lot of noise. It's still a lot of headlines. And although they're very young and talented doesn't always respond well to losses. Experience does. So will that young talent be able to respond to 2-3 losses in a row? Or will the whole locker room just go to shame? Will it just all break down? Because I have a feeling that's exactly what's going to happen with the Browns. The Browns they're going to be very high on the highs, and they're going to be very low on the lows. They're not going to be even keeled. They're going to be very emotional, and they're going to ride the wave on whichever way they're going. So that's what frightens me with the Browns. That's why I'm not on the hype train with the Cleveland Browns. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win the AFC North. So now we go to the AFC East. We have the Pats, the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins. No secret here, I'm going with the Patriots. The Jets are my sleeper, and I think they can squeak into the playoffs. I really like Sam Darnold. I really like the coaching staff, and I think they fit well with Sam Darnold, but I'm going with the Pats. No explanation there. I don't have the Dolphins beating them. I certainly don't have the Bills beating them. The Jets will be good. They'll be an improved team from last year. I'm going with the Pats. Then we have the AFC West, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs. I'm going with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going with the Raiders. As much noise, hard knocks, I don't think anyone thinks they're better than the Chiefs. But just because you have publicity doesn't mean it's good publicity. It depends on the business you're in. I'm disagreeing with LeVar Ball here. LeVar Ball always states any publicity is good publicity, or he said that before. A lot of people say that. It's not the case. Not for NFL. Not for NFL teams. That's not the case. You want less drama, more focused on staying healthy, and more focused on football. Now, I'm going to repeat that one more time. In the NFL, you want less headlines, less drama, and more focused on the actual game of football and staying healthy. Like I said, the best ability is availability. We get it all the time. Andrew Luck is done because he's been injured. I'm going with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is a generational type talent. I think he's the number one quarterback in the NFL right now. I have a great coaching staff. The Raiders, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Antonio Brown's going to retire because he's threatened that if he doesn't get the right helmet. You have the frostbite situation on his feet. I don't think John Gruden knows what he's doing. Great personality, great for Hard Knocks, sells tickets. Don't think he knows what he's doing. I like the Chargers. I like Phillip Rivers. I like the veteran leadership. I like the front office. I like the Broncos. I'm going with the Chiefs. So just that right there, let me break that down to you. AFC North, I have the Steelers winning the division. AFC South, I have the Texans winning the division. AFC East, I have the Patriots winning the division. AFC West, I have the Chiefs winning the division. What is the common ingredient right there? Great coaching, great quarterback. Great coaching, great quarterback. I have Big Ben, Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes. Coaching and quarterback wins in this league. Tomlin, Belichick, Reed, you name it. Okay, now let's move over to the NFC North. We're moving on to the NFC here. Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. What was my common ingredient in the AFC? A great quarterback. I'm going that right now. Aaron Rodgers, the best quarterback in that division. I think he has a bounce back year. A lot of criticism, a lot of injuries. Again, availability is the best ability. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know about Matt LaFleur right now. I just want to focus on what Aaron Rodgers will do. I think he's too smart for his own good sometimes. I think there will be drama, but I think they'll put it together. Aaron Rodgers wins that division. I'm going to go to the NFC South. Panthers, Buccaneers, Saints, Falcons. And now this is where I'm going to get pushback, and I've already gotten pushback on this, because I don't think the Saints are completely over what happened against the Rams. That terrible missed call, and then it's going to court, and they just will not stop talking about it. And we see this time and time again in the NFL where a team doesn't get over a play or a loss from the previous season, and it trickles over into the next season. They just can't get over it. It's still in their psyche. It's still in their consciousness. I think Drew Brees has gotten over it. I think Drew Brees is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but I don't think the Saints have gotten over it as a whole, as a unit. So with that being said, I'm going with the Falcons to win the division. And now hear me out. I had the Falcons going really far last year, and that didn't happen, right? It did not happen. So they had a bad, disappointing year. But now going into this season, they're going to excel those expectations. So bad year motivated into a good year. Saints went from a good year, still in that Super Bowl, well, not Super Bowl hangover, still in that loss hangover. It's going to trickle down into this year. So I have the Falcons winning the NFC South. So now we have the NFC East. Cowboys, Redskins, Giants, Eagles. Oh, gosh, this is the fun division because I'm a Giants guy. Dallas is so interesting because I don't know where to put them. I'm going to say that again. I don't know where to put them because I like Dak. I don't love Dak. I like Zeke. I don't know what's going to happen with Zeke. I like Amari, and he'll be there. He's not the one that's demanding the money right now. But I think there's just so many question marks with this team. I like them. I'm just uncertain of what's going to play out. I have the Redskins. My Giants, looks like Daniels is pretty good, but I don't have faith in Eli Manning anymore. I'm going with the Eagles. The Eagles win that division pretty easily, in my opinion. Again, best quarterback in the division, Carson Wentz. Best roster, great coach, great front office. NFC West, Seahawks, Cardinals, 49ers, Rams. Now, when I name all of these teams so far, one thing you notice is how good the quarterbacks have gotten in today's NFL. Russell Wilson. Now, Kyler Murray is supposed to be amazing now, right? We haven't even seen him play an NFL game, but right now everyone's saying he's going to be a stud. He's going to be great. Now, he's shorter, but in today's NFL, he's able to overcome that. So I'm expecting Kyler Murray, according to what everyone is saying, to have a pretty good year. And I also have Jimmy G. So is Jimmy G going to have a bounce back year? And I think the 49ers and the Jets are my two teams that are going to really surprise people. The Rams are still going to win this division, and I think the Rams are very interesting in this aspect. They don't have the Super Bowl hangover. I'm going to say that again, they don't have the Super Bowl hangover. I love Sean McVay, one of the best young coaches in the game, and I love Goff. And I think both of them understand each other, and I think both of them are motivated instead of disappointed. You can take a loss and make it where it's more impactful than a win, and you can learn more from it and actually get better. But you can also let it affect you the negative way, which we've seen a lot. The Jaguars, like I said, I think the Saints, I think that's going to happen to the Saints, the Seahawks in the past. I think the Rams actually have a bounce back year and are still a very good team, and they win this division. So I'm going with the Packers to win the NFC North, the Falcons to win the NFC South, the Eagles to win the NFC East, and the Rams to win the NFC West. So there are my NFL to division predictions. I'm going with Steelers, Texans, Patriots, Chiefs, Packers, Falcons, Eagles, Rams. Not giving my Super Bowl prediction just yet. I want to see, I'll give it to you before the season starts, but not yet. Not yet. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, available on any podcast platform, Max Van Auken. Please rate it, subscribe, tell a friend. I want to shift gears now to the NBA. So recent title odds came out, and the Clippers are number one at like 54.5%. Well, okay. Number 2 surprised me. Number 3 shocked me. Number 4, I'm like, it's about time they put them on the list. Number 5, I'm happy with. Number 6, I'm down on. Well, I'm happy with where they're on the list. Okay, so let's start off with the Clippers. 100% deserve it. They should be the title favorites. I'm a Lakers guy, but I understand Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. With DeMarcus Cousins' injury for the Lakers, they're signing and taking a risk with Dwight Howard. The Clippers don't have any drama right now. I do think Paul George bouncing back from his injury is a little bit under discussed, but I think he'll be fine. But they have a great defensive team, a great front office with Jerry West, and a great coach with Doc Rivers. The Clippers should be the favorite. They're great defensively, amazing defensively, could be the best team in the league on the defensive end, and they're still great offensively because they have 2 superstars with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And Montrezl Harrell got really good, really fast. And then we also have one of the best 6 men of all time, Lou Will. So I completely understand why the Clippers are number 1. Number 2 is where I don't understand the projections. The Bucks, 36.4%. A team has to come out of the East, and I understand the Bucks are the favorite, so that's why they probably got that percentage. But tell me where they got better. I don't think they got better. Besides Giannis, Chris Middleton is not a good 2. He's a good player, but I wouldn't want him on a championship team as my second best player. I like Eric Bledsoe, but I believe you lost Lopez and Miochik. So I'm not very thrilled with this roster. And I don't think Giannis can do it all by himself. We've seen it throughout the course of history. You need to have a team to win. And a lot of people think Kawhi Leonard did it by himself. He had a pretty good team. And of course, the Warriors got injured. I'm not taking away from Kawhi Leonard, but you also have to understand the circumstance. I would not put the Bucks at 2, and I certainly wouldn't put the 76ers, who are at 6.1%, at 3. The 76ers are a good basketball team. I like Ben Simmons. I like Joel Embiid. Now, that fit is questionable because Ben Simmons can't even shoot yet. He's showing signs of it. I'm a huge Ben Simmons guy. I would go with Ben Simmons before Joel Embiid, and that seems controversial. But I don't understand the signing of Al Horford, and you got rid of your best shooter in J.J. Redick. I like Tobias Harris. You got rid of Jimmy Butler, which may help the locker room. But adding another center in Al Horford, when you already have a center in Joel Embiid, does not feel like 2019-2020 basketball. That feels like back in the day, yeah, you're going to dominate the paint. It's going to be hard for Giannis because he's not the best shooter and the paint will be clogged. I don't understand, unless the 76ers understand that maybe Joel Embiid can't play this many games this season, they really want to load management him. Cool, you have Al Horford, that's good. But when it comes crunch time, I don't want 2 centers on the floor. I want shooters. I want people that can shoot at the free throw line and that can match up well on the perimeter. Now, they're both good defenders. They're not wing defenders. So I'm not as high on the 76ers as a lot of people. I really like the Boston Celtics. Now, should they be up there? Maybe not. But the Celtics are way too high. I mean, the 76ers are way too high. They should not be over the Los Angeles Lakers. I have LeBron James, who hasn't missed the playoffs in God knows how long, and he's made 8 straight finals, getting more rest than he's ever gotten. And he's been scrutinized. Like, the last time he's been this scrutinized was the Dallas Mavericks series in 2011 in the finals. And what happened the next year? He won a championship against the Thunder with Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. So I'm getting a motivated LeBron James with a top 5, top 10 player in Anthony Davis, with Danny Green, who can shoot and play defense, with Avery Bradley, with Quinn Cook, with Rondo, with Kyle Kuzma as your third option, one of the best young talents in the league. They have a pretty good roster. They have a pretty good roster to go alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, the best player in the world with the 5th or 7th best player in the world. So you're telling me the 76ers are better than the Los Angeles Lakers? I'm not having that. I'm not having that. So then you go to the 4th team, which is the Lakers. You go to the 5th team, which is the Golden State Warriors, which should be above the 6th team, the Houston Rockets. And I would even take the Golden State Warriors over the 76ers. If it was my list, I would go Clippers, Lakers, Warriors, Bucks, Rockets. I wouldn't even have the 76ers in the top 5. Certainly not the 3rd. And I'm not trying to get too anxious or too rambunctious with this list, but I saw this list and I was just like, what? Why are the 76ers 3rd and why are the Bucks 2nd? Clippers, Lakers, Warriors, Bucks, Rockets. I really like the Warriors. I think they're very underrated right now because Kevin Durant left, so now everyone thinks they're just trash, and they're not trash. I still have Steph Curry. Klay Thompson will come back. I have D'Angelo Russell, a young all-star guard who can shoot and score. I still have Draymond Green. I really like this roster. I still really like the Golden State Warriors, and I'm not high on the Houston Rockets, but I understand their talent should put them up there. Wanted to get that out of my system. I do want to shift gears finally and lastly to the MMA world. So the MMA has a star that is global. He's the biggest star the sport really has seen, and that's Conor McGregor. And I had a podcast about him, and I really went in depth with it as far as what he was known for to what he's become. He was known for being patriotic and overcoming obstacles and adversity, from being poor and living in poverty to becoming the self-made millionaire with generational wealth, which is an amazing story. His accomplishments, being a champ, being very patriotic, having the whole country of Ireland, it feels like, in the arena when he fights. And he's become this fighter, he's become this star with a lot of money and fame, and just can't seem to get out of trouble. He's punching an older gentleman in the bar. He's smashing someone's iPhone. He's throwing a dolly at Habib's bus. He's getting in trouble at another bar. He's calling out the mob. It's just one thing after another. He's jumping over the cage and slapping a referee. So we never got to see Conor McGregor come back and feel like Conor McGregor. We've seen him fight Habib, and it felt like he was half in, half out. And we hear him flirting with the return, but I was completely off Conor McGregor. I think he's fallen off when it comes to being an athlete and being an MMA fighter. Well, he has a most recent interview. It's about 40 minutes long with Ariel Helwani, and it was one of the most impressive and honest interviews I felt Conor McGregor's ever had. He was more vulnerable than ever, and it seemed like he put his ego to the side. Like, it didn't feel like he was playing for the paparazzi. He wasn't playing for the money. He was sincerely defeated and owned up to. Now, I'm not saying it makes it right just because you apologize for something you did wrong doesn't take away what you did wrong. But I felt like this was the Conor McGregor that is focused on just fighting again. And if he didn't want to fight, that's perfectly fine. Who are we to say you should fight? But this Conor McGregor admitted his faults, kept apologizing, didn't even explain his side of the story, just said he was wrong, and it's a battle that he's been battling with, and none of this past accomplishments and achievements he's had doesn't matter unless he rewrites it and does it again now. And it was, like I said, one of the most vulnerable Conor McGregors we've ever seen, to someone who kept him admitting to his faults, saying he deserves the criticism from his fellow fighters, and he's disappointed so many people. And I'm not happy that he's going through this, but I'm happy that he's acknowledged it, and he's talked about he will fight whoever, whenever the UFC needs him to, and he just can't wait to get back in the octagon. So for me, for the fans, I'm hoping this is the sincere Conor McGregor who will follow through with it, and we'll see the biggest MMA star return to the octagon, because everyone wants to see that, and I think he has so many good fights left in him that we really haven't seen the end of it yet. I think he can do so many things, and there's still so much left for him to do in the sport. So Conor McGregor, hats off to you. Now just follow through with it. So before I let you guys go, I want to get to your fan questions here. I appreciate you listening to the podcast. If this is your first time, please reach out to me on any social media platform, Max Van Auken. Send your questions, and I will get to them. The first one here is, hey, huge fan of the pod. Do you think Andrew Luck will return? For one, thank you. And no, I don't. I think he'll be tempted, but I think he's very smart, and I think he understands what caused him. As he stated, and he cried in his interview, you could see how hard this was for him to decide. It wasn't an easy decision because he's walking away from the sport he loves, but he promised himself he'll never go down this path again. And maybe he's healthy in 2 years, and he feels good, and his body feels good, and whatever franchise he decides to go to is in a good situation to protect him. I don't see it. Who is your number one quarterback in the league today? And that is Patrick Mahomes. I love Tom Brady, and I think Tom Brady can win another Super Bowl, but I also think Patrick Mahomes can win a Super Bowl, and I think right now Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL, well, certainly the best quarterback in the NFL. Why was Zion not selected to be or to have the best career out of the rookies? That is a super interesting topic, and I can go forever on this one. I don't know. I don't know. I think fellow rookies that did this poll, I think they're more interested by the guard play, if I could say that correctly, like the Cam Reddish. I think it's not hatred, it's not jealousy. It could be a little bit of jealousy for Zion, to be honest with you. Like, they like John Morant, they like Cam Reddish, but I don't understand why Zion Williamson was not voted the best or like top 2 for having the best career. He's a generational, and I've been saying that a lot this podcast, but it's because I've been talking about Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes, and Zion Williamson. Like, those guys are truly generational talents. You don't get 6'7", jump out of the gym at 285. You just don't get that. With the love of the game, no drama, and loves to play hard. And he loves to play defense. And he's very aggressive, and he doesn't play soft for his size. He plays big for his size, and he's huge. So I don't understand. I think Zion Williamson will have the best out of all of them. But Cam Reddish was my sleeper out of that draft too. I still love John Morant, but Cam Reddish, I do understand being voted as highly as he was, but not above Zion. Why do you think the Saints will take a step back? Well, as I explained on the pod, I just think that the team itself, the city of New Orleans, has not gotten over the play. And when you have something that's still in your psyche and still on your mind going forward, you can't achieve something unless you're clear-headed and focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is to win the Super Bowl. Until they get over that, I'm sticking to my guns, and I'm saying they're taking a step back. Who will Conor fight in his return? I think they're going to put him up against the winner of Dustin Poirier and Khabib. It's either that. I don't think they're going to put him against Nate Diaz right away, because I know Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal probably will fight, and that's a welterweight fight. I think the winner of for Khabib and Dustin Poirier, and if it's not those two, I could see Conor McGregor fighting Tony Ferguson, because Tony Ferguson is kind of waiting there. He never lost his belt, but he never got to fight Khabib because of all these injuries. I could see them making that fight because it's a fan favorite. They would both just stand toe-to-toe and bang, and then the winner would get the winner of Dustin Poirier and Khabib. But I can also see Dana White thinking, we need to see the rematch with Conor and Khabib, or we could see the rematch with him and Dustin. So there's a lot of interesting parts to this puzzle, a lot of pieces to this puzzle. I think either Tony Ferguson, Frankie Edgar, because they talked about that as well, but I know Frankie also talked about going down in weight. So if between 3, it'd be Dustin Poirier or Khabib. That counts as like 1. Tony Ferguson and Frankie Edgar. If I had to give you one, it's the winner of Khabib and Dustin Poirier. Okay, lastly here, will we ever see Diaz versus Habib? No, you will not. Habib is a lightweight, and Diaz has been competing at welterweight. In order for that fight to happen, Habib would have to go up, and it's quote-unquote a super fight. In order for Diaz to get that fight at lightweight, he'd have to earn his way up the ranks. You don't just get that fight. I don't think, because he's not a champion, and it wouldn't be a champion versus champion. Diaz hasn't earned the belt at welterweight, so I don't see that fight ever happening. I would love to see it happen. I don't see it happening. But there you guys have it for this episode. Again, I appreciate you guys listening. Have a couple big guests coming on this week, so make sure you stay tuned. Download the podcast, subscribe to it, rate it, and tell a friend. It's also available on YouTube as well to watch it. So I appreciate you guys, and peace.